All right, so welcome once again. This was the front end. Remember that we are applying HTML, CSS to create the front end of our websites. And in our last class, we focused on developing the very first page, which is always referred to as the index page. And I advise us to always give quality time when you are developing the index page because it's like you have already built 30 to 40% of other pages. And at the same time, we should know as developers that the index page is the very first interface the user sees. So for that reason, we have to make sure that it look very appealing and users friendly. So I also explained that a website is made up of three sections. Talking about a website page. A website page, just like the page we are in right now, has three different sections. And the first section is the navigation bar, which we also develop in that section with four different navigation link, and they will also added the hover, and then this is representing our logo. And then the next section is the body section. Remember the diagram that I drew that very day. The body section is where you are expected to display the main content, just like as you can see, what exactly you are advertising. You are to create that within the body section. So we also introduce can I say, an element which is most used for structuring the body section, which we refer to as the card. And I explained to us that the card is actually a layout definition element. It is one of the most used structure or layout which is used to define the arrangement of your item within the web page. Okay, so as you can see here, each of the card were designed inside different section. So as you can see, we added gap of 20. So the whole of this is one card. So which means that this particular card is holding an image, which is assumed to be the product picture. And then we highlighted the name of the product and then a brief description of it. So we only generated this sample text using Lorem text. If you are creating a real website, like I told us, you need to get the description from the client or you generate them using ChatGPT. So once you have an idea of the name of the product, you can tell ChatGPT, please describe this product for me, not less than 3 lines. And then here we added a learn more button. So this is an assumption that there's going to be a dedicated page because we don't want to overcrowd the home page so that it doesn't get the users discouraged. So we are trying to be brief. So in other words, there is a plan of creating an elaborate page where you take your time to pick each of these products and talk about them extensively. So that is the page. Once it is created, you direct them to by clicking on what? Learn more. Now, another professional advice I want to give you is that the brief description that you are highlighting should be a catching description. Should be a description that even if the person choose not to go to the learn more page, he or she to an extent should be able to be satisfied with what the product is all about. And always hang them up. What do I mean by that? Let's say if I'm describing this particular product, let's say computer is an electronic device that can, you see, I stopped that can. I must not tell them the main part. The idea is that you want them to get to a point whereby they will develop a kind of hunger. They want to see the main thing. So that is the point you stop and then display your what? You learn more. That is the general perception, or that is the general standard. But if you are developing e-commerce, definitely this learn more should direct them to the shopping page where they can proceed to purchase it through the add to cart. All right, so now we created two rows, and each of the rows contain 3 cards. That is what we did here, and I show us how we logically copy and paste the first row structure, and then all we ought to have done is to modify the products. Now we want to focus on the footer. That is the section I want to focus on, the footer. So the footer is the last section of every website. You will always find it at the bottom. I hope someone is following. Please let me get a response just to confirm if my audio is still very okay. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the footer is the last section. You can never find footer outside the bottom of a website. Now, the footer has its own design purpose, the kind of information you are expected to develop there. There is a standard. So there are some content that can be repeated. For example, now, if the website height is much, that I feel that when the user get to the bottom part, they will no longer be seeing these mail links. So as a creative developer who is after the user having good experience, you should know that somebody might click on home and then scroll down. And when he or she is at the bottom, he or she may want to, click on about us. So instead of him or her scrolling up before he can switch from home to about, you can be proactive to repeat some of these. In fact, all the menus you have here, including other quick menu, can be programmed in the footer. So you have saved them from going up each time they want to redirect to a different page. That is one thing. Another thing again you can do is that you can decide to fix this particular header in a way that as you are scrolling, it will remain where it is. So the content will be folding at the bottom. So remember we talk about display under, position. You use that part, position, then you will now say position fixed, position fixed. So if you can factor out the container that is holding all your navigation bar content, that is the container you should fix, not the individual content. For example, now, if I should go to my page now, just to identify the container is nav. So let me just put it in line here. So I can just come here and say style, just for us to quickly see the impact of that. Style, so I will just say position, position. I could just say what? Fix. So if I go back to the page now, you see what happened because you have not make it responsive. We have not worked on responsive. So as I position this fixed, you can see what is happening. What is happening is that the width changes based on other things. The width changes. So if I want this width, then I have to go back there and say what? Width 100%. If I want to override whatever I have there. So if I say, let's say width, where is it here? let's say width. I just want us to know that you can actually fix it. So let's say width 100%. If I go back to the page now, I expected it, but because of other CSS, that is a contradiction here. So let me just quickly go to what I'm doing, because this will lead to rearranging our CSS for us to get it done. But your own, if you want to debug, you can try that container that we put. But if you try that container, yeah, I think there's a container that is holding everything. You can try fixing this instead of this, so that to see whether it will not affect everything you have there. So the point I'll try to make now is that just to highlight some of the key things the footer should carry. Okay, this is somebody have question. I noticed somebody raised up hand, or maybe it was a mistake. Okay.
The network is breaking that thing.
Okay, but is it okay now?
Mm.
Okay. So now, primarily, your footer is to display your copyright information. Copyright is just like a license information, what somebody will see and know who is the owner, who is the rightful owner of the website. So because we know that there are a lot of persons that can clone a website. So somebody can copy your website and use it for dubious ways. So we send a warning to them through the footer. So once somebody is at the footer, the person should be able to have a sense of who is the right owner. So you can write statement like the copyright at the name of your company, or you can use other copyright warning information. Then you can also have all your social media handles, that is Facebook, Twitter, and the rest of them. You can publish them within your footer. Okay, so these are the key things. Your contacts, your phone number, your other contacts can also be in the footer. So now let's quickly define the structure in our HTML. So I have already know where the entire header stops. So this is where the header stops. I think, no, this is the body rather. The body started from, just want to know the section where I have my body, that the card. The card represents the body section. So this is where the card starts. Just want to locate it. Okay, good. Thank God that we use comment. Main body design with card. So this is where it stops. So we have to locate immediately after it. That is this section here. You bring in the footer. So the footer, I will start by using comment. I will say footer section, just to be able to differentiate it. So I will know that this is where my footer is starting. So after this, I will have to create a footer. So there is a tag called footer, which is actually designed for footer design. So you can class the footer, class it, I'll class it footer as well. Right now, I'll have a div. I'll create a div, and that div is like just like the way we created header the other time before we nested the nav that was now holding those other sub elements. So the footer is just like a general container in case at the end of our design we want to give the whole of that footer section a different background color from the body. So we can always talk to that section with this one. Then those other information I mentioned, the copyright, the social media, and other content, and the quick link that you want to publish within the footer will be wrapped in a div. So let's quickly class that div to be footer container, just like the way we have it there in the case of header. So I will just say footer container. So make sure that you take note of the layout. So which means that what every other thing will be programmed inside the footer container element. So you can just open this down so you can have enough space. Then inside this, I am going to create a div for differentiating each of the section, because at the end of the day, I would like the section to be inline, just like the way we distributed our card. So I will have the contact where I will write the phone number, maybe the email address, another column still on the same line that will capture the social media, probably another column. I can decide to have 3 of them or 4 of them within the footer section. So what we are trying to do now is that this is the general container, this one, that is directly inside this. So this is just like a backup for now, holding everything within your footer. Now here, I'll create another div, and this particular div, I am classing this particular div. I'm classing this particular div as footer section. Just like the way we had it when we were.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, welcome. So just like the way we have it. So here will be footer section. So I hope you are taking note of the layout. Now, inside the first section, I have H2. And the H2 is just to define that particular section. So the H2 is, I want to briefly at the bottom of the website talk about the business, though you must have also spoken about it at the top. But now we are considering the fact that the person must have scrolled from the top to the bottom. So when they are at the footer section, they should also have an idea of what you are into. So I can say about us here. So this one is good. This one should be brief. It's not going to be as much as the one you are explaining in your about us page, where you are saying everything about your company. So the next thing is for you to create a P tag for you to be able to explain briefly. So things like this, like I said, you can just go to ChatGPT where you don't have the content. All you need is just to tell ChatGPT that, okay, you are building a website for a company that deals with this. Can you write 3 lines words or 3-line sentence describing who they are or about them? So ChatGPT will generate it for you within 1 second, or if not even less than that. Then you copy it and come and paste it here. So let's assume let me see if I can show us an example, because when it comes to content creating within when you are building your website, it is now very easy now. You don't need to rack your brain. All you need is just to consult ChatGPT. You should be able to know how to describe that business focus. So if I tell ChatGPT now that acts as a web developer, my business, okay, right, let's say 20 words. Write 20 words describing my business. So you must tell ChatGPT, we sell sorry, my business name is Purites. Command, we sell all kinds of baby products. So watch what ChatGPT will do for you. So you can see, because we say 20 words, Purites offer premium baby product from clothing to what? This. If I'm not okay with that, I will just tell ChatGPT, more, give me more. I'm not okay with that one. So it will now repackage it. Purites is your trusted. You say more until once you get what you want. Now I want to take this as that brief about. So I'll go back to my web page and then paste it here. So the same thing if it's product. Once you have an idea of the name of the product and the company did not give you the definition or the description of the product, as a developer, just go to ChatGPT, then describe that product, and then tell ChatGPT to give you details about it. So this is the first section. Now, like I told us before, we can display the link. So which means that in this section, which is the footer, I want to display some quick link. We usually refer to them as quick link. All right. So these are some of the links that probably were not captured in your main link. So it's possible that they are the link that you did not capture here. Link like comments or like gallery, link like maybe customer service. All those links are not meant to be if you are not prioritizing them in your navigation. As a matter of fact, your navigation bar should not be congested. An average number of links you should have in your nav bar should not be more than 5. So any other one, you create a drop down and then you say more that people can click and then get that done. Now, if you go back now, you can see this is what we have developed at the footer section. Now, what I'm saying is that I want to repeat some of this link there in the footer. So that in case somebody is at the footer section, he or she does not need to scroll up before he can select what? About us. So for that, I'm bringing the UL also. I'm bringing the UL because I want to capture the link. Now, inside the UL, I will just create what? My LI as usual to make them clickable. Next anchor tag inside. So if you do not know the page this is going to target yet, you just quickly put what? Hash there. But if you have an idea of the page this will target, so this is targeting index. That is what? That same home that is at the top. If you are at the bottom here, you can as well link. So all I will do is to, just like I did now, the same description with the one at the top and the same destination with the one at the top. So if you click on the home at the top, you click on the home at the bottom, you will eventually what? Be redirected to the same page. So this is the first one I want to capture here. I'll copy it and then paste more. Network is dealing with Flourish. Now, I'll change this one to about the same way we captured it in, because I just want to repeat them and then change the description to about as well. So the same thing here, I'll change it to, I think I have contact there. I'll just say contact and then change it to contact as well. So let's assume now here, let me change it to, let me add additional link that we have not created, even the nav bar. Let's say, what will I put here? Okay, let me put gallery, and then give it All right, so you can add more as you want it. So if we go back to the front end, you see that what we have link here. So if you are at the footer, you don't need to scroll up before you want to click on. If you click here, it will take you to the same page. So that is one section, because what we are looking at is a kind of card. So all this will be forced to display here. Another section will come in here, and that is what we are trying to develop here. So if I go back to my coding page, so I'm out of this div. Remember that this div, remember where we started the div from? This div is the first footer section. It started from where I started my highlighting, then it stopped here. So you are still inside this div. This div is the first one, which is this, in which you are creating all the sections. So I'll make sure that I just step out from here and then create another section. Create another section. So what I'm going to do to save my time is to copy this section like this, because I still want to work with link. Control C. Make sure that you are still inside the first container, and then I'll paste. Now this one I'm targeting the quick link, but here I repeated some of those links that we have in our navigation bar. The link we have in our navigation bar, they are the ones that we have captured here. Now I want to bring in the quick link. So the quick link, what I'm going to do, this will remain the same. And then here we change to quick links. Quick links. Change to quick links. Then here there won't be any description. I would not need what, because I'm not saying anything about the company. So this is how I'll have it. Then the quick link will be different link from what I have there. So for now, I don't have their pages created. So I will just represent them with with hash. Okay, let's just forecast them. Let's say this one is the blog page, blog.html. Then I change it, blog. Then this one is portfolio. And then I'm also changing here to portfolio. Then here is, let's say, services. We don't have services over there. Service, and then here become so let me change the last one to, what will I change it to? Okay, let's say I don't have it. So if I go back to the front end now and check, so you can see right now everything is displaying what? Blog. But at the end of the day, we will flex the footer container, and then we will have all of them placed side by side. So that is the idea. So we need another section for social media. We need another section. Why is network removing all of them? Let's see if we can give them a few seconds. Mr. Austin. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As you join now, you are driving them away with your network, have you?
No,
Okay.
I'm not too.
Okay, so now let's take this again.
So it's just like some of this things now. We have done these things before.
Yes.
I know you're going, but we have done this. Even I've passed this stage.
Okay, so now
But go ahead.
the next thing is follow us. This one is follow us. So definitely this is talking about your social media. So your social media link, a social media link, you are not going to put them in the UL, we'll call them direct. Once we have defined, okay, let's still put them in UL for proper packaging. Then the first one is Facebook and then Instagram. So for now, we don't have their URL if the pages have not been created. So all you can do is to put hash there. And then maybe here you write Facebook. But remember that in that class where I have explained all this, I showed us how you can use Font Awesome to create the Facebook icon and then just add the URL. So I've explained that. I don't want to go into that in this revision section. So here maybe is going to be WhatsApp. It's going to be WhatsApp. So you can just specify them. I don't have their pages URL. That is why I'm putting hash. As soon as I get them and then I substitute them. So let's say this one is Instagram. Right? So now if you come back here, you see that what we have the three sections. We have the three sections. So quickly, let's see if we can rush the CSS aspect since this is a revision. Now, let's go to the CSS and style the footer. So styling the footer. Styling the footer. So I'll start with the first container, which is what? The one with class footer. I believe if I go back to the document, you get it. Where did we start from that time? Just to draw your attention. So this very one is the one we are speaking to right now. So what do we want there? We just want to give it a background color. So we are still using the hexadecimal method, which is this hexadecimal method, just to give it a background, good, just to be able to make it look different from the other section. And then we also want to give the write-up we have there, the text. We use the color property, so I can still use the same hexadecimal FFF. That is family of white. Then the next one is padding. We want to add some padding space. And the padding space, top, bottom, that's right and left, 0. We don't need it on one side. So we check. Okay, so now we can now go and talk to the footer container. Remember, we are following the order. So I can just copy it here, Control C, go to my CSS, and add dot, paste it, then open. So what we want there, we want maximum width because of the mobile responsiveness. Maximum width. Let's say we want maximum width of 1. So here we are targeting a device. Definitely it's not phone because phone is not up to this. Maximum width. So let me check. Okay. Maximum width. Then margin. We want some margin. We want margin. One side should be 0. The other side should be calculated automatically. If you check, okay, so you can see that we have margin here. We have margin here. So this is distance from the box. And then here we say auto. So it calculated it itself. So now the next one is display. How do we want it to display? Of course, we want those elements that are displaying block to display what? Inline. So just like what we just learned, display flex. So if I come here, you see that what? Automatically, each of them, they are not taking a vertical what? Column. Now, because that is actually how we want to distribute them. So we go back there to the next one is flex wrap. Let's see if flex wrap, if it make any impact based on our layout, fine, we go with it. If it doesn't, we drop it. Then justify content. The item inside should be spaced. That is space in between. So let's check. Yeah, we have. Okay, so let me check if I turn off this. Check what I have. Think I'm better like this. But for now, I will leave it. The next one is the footer section. Dot footer section. Footer what? Section. So width, the width, let's say the width here, we want to calculate it. So let's say use the calculator. And then we want to give each of them 3 points, just like an assumption percentage. If it doesn't work, we go back to a normal way of widthing. So I can just put negative 20 PS. So it's just a kind of calculation. Let's check. So that did not make any impact. So I'll just use the direct width. So let's say width, I want to give each and every one of them 300 PS and see what I'm going to get. All right, so this is better. This is better, so I have a more user presentation here. So, but I think, yeah, let me see if I can increase it to 350. 350 and see what I'm going to get. Okay, this is more reasonable. All right, so now I want to add some margin. Margin of 10 PS. Margin of 10 PS, okay. So the next element is what? The H2 inside each of the section. So I'm going to access it with this. That is, I'm using the parent to call it delete one dot, the space, and say H2. So indirectly, what you are saying is that what the H2 in the element with the class name, footer section, is the one you are talking to. So let's add some design font size. I just want to make it 18 PS. Then add some margin bottom 10 PS. Okay, so if I check now to see what I have here, okay, this is still okay. Then I want to talk to the link, that is the UL. So I can just put that paste, sorry, delete one. So I'm talking to the UL inside the div with the class name, footer section, talking to the li now. So what do I want? For the li, sorry, the ul, the marker, we want to turn those dots. We don't want to see them. If I go front to the front, we don't want all these dots. We want to silence them. So list style, as usual, list style, we say what? None. So if I go back there, you see that what? All those marker has gone. So now the next thing I want to I want to also add some padding 0. I don't want. Then also margin 0 as well. So if I check now, okay, so I have it a better display. So I want to talk to the link themselves now. The link themselves, which is what? This, sorry, space A. So we should know all this already since it's a revision class. So the color of those, because currently they are using the appearance element color. So color, I want an equivalent color that will blend with this color that we have used, which is equivalent to the text decoration. What do you mean by that? If you go to the front end, you see that what they already have a kind of underline. That underline came as default. So that is what we want to stop with text decoration. So I'll simply say what? None. I don't want it. So if I go back to the front end, you see that what? All those lines are gone. Right? So the next thing is the footer bottom. Footer bottom. Is any element probably we did not consider that class. So what is remaining is for you to apply the media query so that it will be responsive across other smaller devices. So which we usually refer to what? Adding responsiveness. So I'll simply do at media. I've explained all this before. Media query at media. Then define the limits of that device that you want to implement the display at media width. At media width. At media width. Specify the width. So we are targeting mobile phone, which is within the range of 768 PS. So you declare your CSS block, then you call the elements you are adding the responsiveness to, which is what? All the div with the class name what? Footer this. And then you declare each CSS block, you say at that width, this element should display 100%. So which means that when it comes on the device with that screen size, it will display full. That is how it will take the other one to the bottom to display in proper way. So this is one, responsiveness. So you have to keep calling the responsiveness for different objects. So what you can always use, you can calculate it, but remember that I fall back to the normal one. You can use calculation, put 50%, then 20 PS, depending on how you want to calculate it. You can say on that particular device width, which is this. Once someone is using a laptop or a device that the screen resolution is within this range, then this particular element that is probably displaying 100% or as you have programmed it should display differently on that device. That is what you are directly saying here. So here should be this, it should be 100 PS. So that to display full, you can say 50, you can say 60, depending on how you want it. All right, so so that is for the footer. So if you want to test the responsiveness, you right click, go to inspect. So let's say the footer section, you can see that the footer is not, so we have not finished on this particular one because the width we specified there. Let's choose another device and check how it's going to display on different devices. So it's displaying here, we can't see the follow, we can't see the the followers, so which means that it's not yet responsive because we are supposed to see everything on this device. So which means that you have to add another responsiveness for it to capture another device. So what you do is you come out here, you define another one at media. So these are actually what we bypass with Bootstrap. Okay, so once we are done with this particular design and we are done with JavaScript, where we will now learn Bootstrap. So it is from there that Bootstrap will take care of all this responsiveness. But the reason why we are touching few of them so that you know what exactly the Bootstrap will be doing for you. So in fact, instead of me writing again, I can just copy this since I just want to change some value. Control C. So here I'm changing it to, I'm changing here to, okay, this will be 100%, or here to a smaller device. Let's say 480. And then here, let me calculate it. Then the calculation method might work better. 50p, 50% minus 20 ps gives some. Okay, let's see. Right, so let's inspect again. Yeah, you can see it now. You can see that you are able to see all of them, but let's check another device. You can see all the devices that I'm choosing. You are still seeing the three of them. Let me check another device. You can see this session is responsive, but remember that it's like we have not, yes, we have not make this responsive. Or this, any device we choose that is within the first range and the second range, which is 400 or something, it will display all these. So there's no time any of this will be cut off. That is the whole idea behind the responsiveness. Any question? Do we have any question? Any question? So if there's no question, I'll just show us the logic, how you are going to create other pages, and then we'll stop there. So you now take it as a project to go and start developing a full website with HTML and CSS. Now remember that this is just the landing page, which means that when they type your website URL, the browser brings them here. So after here, somebody may want to click on this and take them to another page. Somebody may want to click on any of this. So if somebody click here, for example, about us now, the browser will say something like this because you have not created the database for this particular data for this particular page. So you have only created for when they click here. So now how do we now create files for other pages? Like the advice I gave to us, you take your time to develop the home page, because in other pages, we are going to be retaining the header, the footer. We are not going to be redesigning the header and the footer. We will just take everything, then delete the body and redesign the body. So that is what you will do before the next class. Once you have created those pages, you will leave the header, leave the footer, they give us different design and give us different content across the pages. So this particular one that you have designed, all you need to do is to go to the navigation bar where you created the link like this. So just copy this one. This is the one we want to create a file for. So right click on it, copy it. Right, while you are here, go to File, select Save As, make sure that you are in that same folder, that particular URL that you copy, paste it. Now, once here is showing HTML, there is no need for you to add this HTML, and then click on Save. Automatically, the file will be added here, which means that if I go back to the website and I click here, I am now having the same content that I have in the home page because I duplicated it. Now, what you will now do is that you will now come to this page. You are no longer designing here. You now click here. Then you leave the header like I just explained now. I will just go to where I have the body section. That is the reason why we use comment to explain where the body started from and where it ends before the commencement of the footer. So this is where the footer started from. So let me just go to where the body started from. This is where the body started from. So you clear everything before the footer, delete everything you have there. Now delete everything like this. So because you have a plan of designing something else. So what you will do now is that you will now say what? Maybe about us body here. Just use comment about body here. And then you can say start here. And then of course, as you are coming down, everything you are adding, let's say I add div just for us to have something there. So this div, I will add what? An image. And let me just call one of the picture so that we'll have something different. And I want to quickly make this 100% width for now so that you can fill the space. So 100%. So if I go back to the website now, you can see it. So when somebody is here, is seeing all this information, and then peradventure he wants to click on the about us here, you can see that it's also what? Connecting, or he wants to use this one, is also connecting. So that is what you do. That is why I advise us that you take your time to finish the homepage. Spend time to make sure that you make it look user-friendly. Because while you were designing that homepage, indirectly, you have designed 40 to 50% of other pages because you are no longer spending time to design the header and the footer. It's just the section you'll be editing. So let me do one more. So let's say I'll always go back to the index. I want to create content for this. So copy it. So the reason why I always copy so that you avoid typographical error, because if you miss it, maybe if you try typing it, you type capital letter C, it might not be connecting. That is where you'll be getting the page is not connecting. So the best thing is that you go and copy and then go back to the index page, go to file, then select save as. Make sure that you are in that project folder, then paste the name. Like I said, remove the HTML section because HTML is already selected here as file format. Then click here. So you have it here. Then you now go in there and delete the body section. So your assignment is to, before the next class, your home page should be ready. Your about us page should be ready. Your contact page should be ready. Your contact page, add a form there, a form that they can use to reach out to you. You have learned how to design form. And then, in fact, it should be a complete website. So that is what you have to do. Any question?